Today, we know him as the richest man on Earth. We see the rockets landing upright, we see the electric car revolution, we see the tweets that move markets. But most people have forgotten, or never knew, that there was a moment when Elon Musk was not a titan of industry. In fact, he was broke, he was humiliated, and he was 3 days away from total failure. The year was 2008. The global economy was collapsing, and Elon Musk, he wasn't the genius visionary the world loves today. To the media, he was a joke, a dot-com millionaire burning his fortune on toy rockets and electric cars that didn't work. Both of his companies, SpaceX and Tesla, were bleeding to death. He had spent his entire fortune, $180 million, and he was down to his last personal reserves. This is the story of the most dangerous gamble in modern business history. This is the story of how Elon Musk went all in with his last dollar, risking his reputation, his sanity, and his future just to stay alive. To understand the pressure, we have to look at where the money was going. Elon had founded SpaceX with a simple goal: make space travel affordable. But space is hard. The first launch? Failure. The second launch? Failure. By August 2008, the money was almost gone. They had enough parts for one final rocket, Flight 3. This was it. If Flight 3 reached orbit, they would get contracts. They would survive. August 3rd, 2008, Flight 3 launches. It clears the tower, it looks perfect, the team is cheering, and then catastrophe. The stages bump into each other, the rocket spins out of control. It didn't just explode in the sky, it exploded the company's future. Musk later said this was the darkest moment of his life. He wrote that he woke up screaming in the middle of the night. He was physically sick. The world laughed. See, we told you, you're just a PayPal guy, stick to software. SpaceX had zero credibility and zero money. But instead of quitting, Musk walked out of the command center and addressed his crying employees. He told them, "For my part, I will never give up. I mean, never." He announced they would find a way to launch a fourth rocket. But where would the money come from? Because on the other side of town, things were even worse. While SpaceX was blowing up in the atmosphere, Tesla was imploding on the ground. Developing a car is expensive. Developing a car during the 2008 Great Recession, that's suicide. Tesla was burning $4 million a month. The Roadster cost way more to build than they thought. Suppliers were demanding payment, employees were writing checks that were bouncing. A popular website started a column called the Tesla Death Watch. They were literally counting the days until the company died. Musk was trying to raise money from investors, but nobody was picking up the phone. The banks had closed their doors. The venture capitalists were hoarding cash. Elon was facing a divorce. The press was tearing him apart. He was borrowing money from friends just to pay rent. He had a choice to make. He had about $40 million left in his personal liquid assets. That was it. That was the last of the PayPal money. If he kept the money, he would be rich for life, but his companies would die. If he invested it, he might save them, or he might end up living in his parents' basement. But the math was cruel. $40 million wasn't enough to save both companies comfortably. This is the moment that defines Elon Musk. Most CEOs would have picked one company, save the car company, let the rocket company die, or vice versa. It's the logical choice, save one child or risk losing both. Musk couldn't do it. He later said, "I felt like I had to choose between my children. If I split the money, they both might die. If I gave it to one, the other would definitely die." So he did the unthinkable. He decided to risk absolutely everything. He took his last $40 million and split it. He poured it into a fourth launch for SpaceX, and he poured the rest into Tesla payroll. He went all in, zero safety net. If this failed, he would be bankrupt. Not just business bankrupt, personally bankrupt. September 28, 2008, Falcon 1, Flight 4. This was the last shot. There were no parts for a Flight 5. The engine ignites, the rocket climbs, the world holds their breath. First stage separation, successful. Second stage ignition, successful. They did it. SpaceX became the first private company to put a liquid fuel rocket into orbit. It was a miracle, but the celebration was short-lived because Tesla was still dying. Even with the SpaceX success, Tesla was out of cash. It was December 2008. Elon needed to close a funding round by Christmas Eve, or payroll would bounce and Tesla would declare bankruptcy. Investors were playing games. One firm tried to stall the deal, hoping Tesla would go bankrupt so they could steal the intellectual property. Elon had to bluff, he had to beg. He put in his very last dollars to convince other investors to join him. He told them, "I am all in. Are you?" On September 28, 2008, NASA called. Based on the success of that fourth rocket, NASA awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract to resupply the International Space Station. $1.6 billion. 2 days later, on Christmas Eve, the funding for Tesla closed. The company was saved with hours to spare. When we look at Elon Musk today, it's easy to be jealous of the wealth. It's easy to criticize the tweets. But in 2008, when the world was ending, he didn't run. He didn't protect his own bank account. He took the kind of risk that makes you vomit in the morning. He calls himself an engineer, but in 2008, he was a gambler who pushed all his chips into the middle of the table when everyone else was folding. As Musk famously said, "Optimism, pessimism, fuck that. We're going to make it happen. As God is my bloody witness, I'm hell-bent on making it work." And that is why today he owns the future.